Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive. It is Saturday, February 14th, 2026.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Yes, happy Valentine's Day to everyone listening. Now, usually today is all about romance, maybe, a nice dinner, some chocolates. But I have a feeling if you're tuning in, your true love is probably the absolute chaos of the sporting world.
It really is. Week 7, it really did not disappoint.
No, it brought all the drama. I was looking at our stack of sources for this week, and it's everything. Women's Super League, tennis from Qatar, even some threads from the advanced running community on Reddit.
It feels like something's shifting, doesn't it?
That's exactly it. It feels like a real changing of the guard.
Yeah, and that's our goal for this deep dive. We're not just going to read off scores. We want to, simplify the game. Explain why this week felt so important for the rest of the 2026 season.
I love that. So where do we start?
Let's start with the biggest shock, I think. The Women's Super League.
Okay, yeah. And for anyone who follows the WSL, even casually, Manchester City have just been this unstoppable force.
Unstoppable is the word. They were on a 13-match unbeaten run.
13?
In modern football, it's incredible. They look like they had one hand on the trophy already.
Until this weekend.
Until they went to the Emirates to play Arsenal.
And Arsenal, who have been a bit up and down this season, they really showed up.
They really did. It finished 1-0. But it's not just that they won, it's how they won.
Right. They didn't just, park the bus and get a lucky break.
Not at all. They took the game to City. And the goal came from Olivia Smith.
I saw the replay. The setup play from Mariona Caldente was brilliant.
It really was. She created the opening, and Smith was just clinical. And you have to think about the bigger picture here. If City wins that game, the title race is kind of a procession, right? It gets a bit boring.
Yeah, it's over.
This loss, it just blows the whole thing wide open again. It gives everyone else hope.
Speaking of hope, Manchester United had a big result.
They did. A 2-0 away win at Leicester. Not the prettiest of games from what I gather.
A bit of a grind.
A total grind. But you take those wins. The first goal, though, that's the one everyone's talking about.
Right, from Giulia Zigiotti-Olm. I read about this. Did she even mean it?
That is the million-dollar question. It was one of those cross-come shots. She curled it in, maybe looking for a striker to knot it in. It missed everyone. Keeper got confused, and it just nestled right in the corner.
As a keeper, that has to be the worst kind of goal to let in.
It's a nightmare. But United won't care one bit. Elizabeth Turland added a second late on to seal it. And with Chelsea slipping up recently, United are quietly cementing themselves in that top 3.
Okay, so before we move on from the WSL, we have to talk about the other end, the relegation battle.
Yes, and some massive news for Liverpool.
They've been stuck in the basement all season.
Stuck right at the bottom. And that pressure can be paralyzing. But they played Aston Villa and they pulled off a great escape.
They won 4-1. That's not just a win, that's a statement.
A huge statement. It was a comprehensive performance. Goals from Mia Enderby, Martha Thomas, the captain Grace Fisk scored.
Wow.
And Aurelie Cassillag, too. It was a complete team effort.
And what does that do for them in the table?
It lifts them out of the relegation zone. Psychologically, that is just enormous. To look at the table and not see your name last, it breathes new life into a season.
That's huge. Okay, let's switch over to the men's game, Premier League. And honestly, it feels less like a league this week and more like a soap opera. The managerial situations are just...
It's the managerial merry-go-round, but someone has cranked the speed dial to maximum.
And the big headline, of course, is Tottenham Hotspur.
Yeah, breaking news this week. They fired Thomas Frank.
Which I found a little surprising, but it's the replacement that's got everyone talking.
Right. They've agreed a deal with Igor Tudor. But here's the thing. It's only an interim deal, just until the end of the season.
Igor Tudor. So for anyone who doesn't know him, what's his deal? What's his style?
He's a former Croatian international, managed at Juventus, at Marseille. His style is intense.
Intense.
He's a disciplinarian, high-pressing, hard work. He's basically a firefighter brought in to stop the building from burning down completely.
So why just an interim? Why not a permanent boss?
And this is where the Palace intrigue starts. The rumor, and it's a very strong rumor, is that Spurs are playing the waiting game.
For who?
For Mauricio Pochettino.
The return. But wait, isn't he busy with the U.S. national team? The World Cup?
He's very busy. He's not available until the summer. So Spurs have basically decided to, write off the rest of this season with Tudor, steady the ship, and hope Poch comes home in July.
That feels like a massive gamble.
It's a huge risk. If Tudor clashes with the players, which he has done before, it could get very toxic very quickly.
And Spurs aren't the only ones. What on earth is happening at Blackburn Rovers?
This is just a bizarre one. Blackburn appointed Michael O'Neill as head coach.
Okay.
Short-term deal. But he's keeping his day job.
His day job.
Yeah. He's still the manager of the Northern Ireland national team. He's doing both simultaneously.
How is that even possible? Managing a club is a 247 job.
It's incredibly rare in the modern game. He has to save Blackburn's season day to day while also scouting and prepping Northern Ireland for a huge World Cup playoff.
That sounds like a recipe for burnout or just neglecting one of the jobs.
It's a very, very bold move from Blackburn, maybe a desperate one.
And then we have to mention Nottingham Forest. They change managers more than I change my socks.
It wouldn't be a deep dive without Forest. They've signed Vitor Pereira. And just to put this into context, he is their 4th head coach of this season.
4th? We're only in February. That's one manager every 2 months.
It's pure chaos. The contract is until the end of next season, but I don't think anyone would bet on him seeing it out.
Unbelievable. Okay, one last piece of football news. Not a firing this time, but a disciplinary issue with Rodri at Manchester City.
Yes, and this is a big one. He's been charged with misconduct by the FA.
For what? Players complain about refs all the time.
They do, but there's a line. You can say a ref made a bad call. What you can't do is suggest they are biased.
He questioned their integrity.
Exactly. He basically claimed there's an agenda against Man City from the referees.
Yeah.
That's the one thing the FA will always come down hard on. He's facing a ban.
And for a City team that just lost their unbeaten streak, losing their most important midfielder would be a disaster.
A complete disaster. The pressure is clearly getting to people.
It really is. Okay, let's take a breath and head over to the tennis courts. Doha.
Right. The Qatar TotalEnergies Open. And we're back to that theme of transition. A new star might have just been born. Her name is Victoria Mboko.
I'll be honest, I hadn't heard much about her before this week.
And you're not alone. She's a Canadian teenager. But she just tore through the draw. She got this massive upset win against Elena Rybakina.
Rybakina is a Grand Slam champion. That's a huge scalp.
A huge scalp. And then she beat Ostapenko to get to the final. For a teenager to have that kind of mental toughness is just incredible.
And this isn't a small tournament, right?
No, this is a WTA 1000. It's the tier right below a Grand Slam. This changes your career overnight. She's set to face Muchova in the final, but honestly, whatever happens, Mboko has arrived.
Wow. But while she's rising, we saw a really tough moment for Emma Raducanu.
Yeah, it was sad to see. She was playing her first round match, and she started brilliantly. Won the first set, 6-2.
So what happened? An injury?
It looked more like a physical collapse. Her energy just vanished. She had to get her blood pressure tested on the court. It was quite scary, actually.
And she had to retire from the match.
She did. The official reason was a chest infection, but the bigger picture is what's worrying. This was her 9th career retirement.
9th. Seems incredibly high for someone so young.
It is. The talent is obviously there. We saw it in that first set. But the physical durability, the questions are getting louder. The tour is a brutal grind.
It really is. Okay, speaking of physical limits, let's talk about people who seem to have none. To the running track we go.
The Week of the Phenoms, that's what they're calling it.
So, just to set the scene, the British Indoor Championships are on this weekend in Birmingham.
Right, and that's the big domestic focus. People qualifying for the World Indoors. But the story that's exploding online is this global wave of, well, kids shattering records.
I was reading the notes on this, and I had to double-check the ages. Let's start with the Wanamaker Mile.
The legendary Wanamaker Mile, won by a 19-year-old Cam Myers.
19. And he beat some serious pros, right?
He beat Jared Nugas, a world-class athlete. And he didn't just scrape a win, he looked like he belonged. He's the youngest ever winner, but honestly, he's the old man of this group.
Which is just a crazy thing to say. So tell me about Cooper Liptonhouse.
Cooper Liptonhouse, he's 17. He ran the 600 meters at the Millrose Games.
So how fast is fast for a 600 meter?
He ran it in 1 minute, 14.15 seconds. It's a new U20 world record. It's basically an all-out sprint for a lap and a half.
Yeah.
Just brutal.
Third world record at 17.
But the one that really made my jaw drop was Sam Ruth.
The 16-year-old.
He's 16.
Yeah.
And he ran a mile in 3 minutes, 48.88 seconds.
Wait, hold on. A 3.48 mile at 16 years old.
Yes.
Most pros spend their entire careers trying to break 4 minutes. A 3.48 is. That's world class for a grown man.
It is. And that's the big debate, Is it the new shoe technology? Is it better training? It's probably a mix of everything.
Yeah.
But we are seeing a physiological leap. These kids are running times that would have won Olympic medals not that long ago.
Just incredible. And it's happening in Europe too, right?
Absolutely. Fempibol is dominating as usual. And Audrey Wero just set a new Swiss record in the 800-meter. The tracks are just on fire right now.
All right, let's wrap this up with one last sport. We're heading to the U.S. for some college basketball. March is just around the corner.
It is, which means March Madness. The bracket, the buzzer beaters, the insanity. Selection Sunday is March 15th, so we're getting close.
And for our listeners who might not follow it as closely, why do these games in February matter so much?
It's all about your seed, which is the ranking in the tournament. The better your seed, the easier your path is supposed to be.
So a number one seed plays a weaker team first.
Exactly. Right now, the top seeds are teams like UConn, South Carolina, UCLA, and Texas.
Yeah.
And they are desperately trying to hold on to those spots.
But we saw some upsets this week that could shake things up.
Big time. We saw #17 TCU beat #12 Baylor. And it was all because of Olivia Miles.
She had a huge game.
She dropped 40 points. In a shorter college game that is just completely dominant, she willed them to that win.
And there was another one, Vanderbilt versus Texas?
Yes, #5, Vanderbilt took down #4 Texas. And Michaela Blake scored 34 points in that one. These are what we call aha moments. You see a player just take over, and because of that one performance from Blake's, Texas might now lose their #1 seed. It has huge ripple effects.
It just shows how one night, one hot player can change an entire season's trajectory.
That's the magic of it.
So we have covered a lot today. WSL, the Premier League, tennis, track. When you step back and look at it all, what's the big picture for you?
The word that keeps coming to mind is just disruption. The status quo got absolutely battered this week. You have the invincible Man City getting beaten. You have clubs and total panic-firing managers. And you have teenagers in tennis and track just throwing out the old record books.
It feels like 2026 is the year where experience is suddenly overrated.
It really does.
Yeah.
But there's another side to all this intensity. And it's a thought I've been mulling over.
Go on.
We talked about Michael O'Neal working 2 full-time high-pressure jobs. We talked about Rodri lashing out probably from the stress of a title race. We talked about Emma Raducanu's body breaking down for the 9th time.
It sounds like people are being pushed to their absolute limits.
And that's the question, isn't it? Are we reaching a breaking point in modern sports? With the schedules, the demands, the media pressure? Are we just asking too much of the human body and the human mind?
That is a very provocative thought. We demand the entertainment, but maybe we ignore the cost to the athletes themselves.
It's just something to think about the next time we see a player look tired.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for breaking all of that down. I feel like I can actually keep up with the conversations this week.
Pleasure.
And to you listening, hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. Maybe catch some of those British Indoor Championships. We'll be back next time for another deep dive. Until then, take care.